mister. You get a mister. So thank you all for coming, and I greatly appreciate it.
Cool. So I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions before we start the film. Might as well start with the obvious. How did this begin? You know, this is such a crazy, wild ride. Where does it start?
A lot of drugs. A little bit of drinking, but a lot more drugs. No, it started just out of, I wanted to do a movie about FDR. Originally he was going to be in a tricked out wheelchair fighting like people from Prohibition. Nobody would finance that. So, at the time they were like, hey, can't have a vampire werewolf in it? So I was like, alright, fine, fuck it. If you want that, I will put that in there. But I'll make all the werewolves look like Michael J. Fox's dad from the 1986 original Teen Wolf. So if you want a werewolf, let's go campy with it. Let's really get in there. You'll know from the opening frames what I'm talking about.
Barry, I have to ask him about the trailer. Shit goblins. If that doesn't become the next great American catchphrase, along the lines of "Where's the beef?" There's no justice in this universe. Can you talk a little bit about how you craft
shit goblins?
Yeah, that's a hell of a expletive.
Can you talk about how you word shit goblins?
No, I made that up.
You did make it up, didn't you?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
But you made it come alive, and some of
Shut the fuck up, Einstein. That's my favorite line in the movie. Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, that'll be your favorite line in the movie. Shut the fuck up, Einstein. That's Ross Patterson all the way, right? Oh, it is. Oh, it's right. I'm sorry. You were asking.
Yeah, how did you figure out the tone that you wanted this to have, and
Well, I did some research on FDR, and I found out that his mother dressed him in a dress up until he was 5 years old, and that's true. That's absolutely true, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I figured that's the genesis of the whole character. The man is just trying to overcome his first 5 years of life. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But he did have an issue with the 13th. He would never have a dinner party and have 13 people. There was 12 or 14, and after there was 13, he'd always get somebody else there. And he never traveled on the 13th.
What's the date today?
The 13th, yeah. And, yeah. And he wrote a movie. Did you know that he wrote a movie script about old Ironsides?
Was it called Abraham Lincoln Vampire?
No. And he couldn't get Hollywood to buy it. He tried to sell it his whole life.
It's weird, but we have nothing in common.
Nothing.
They need Joe Kennedy.
Yeah. So we were fortunate to have Mr. Sorbo. He and I have a wonderful scene together, and it was just a delight, and only because we were stoned the whole time, right? Yeah. I mean, in the script we were stoned the whole time, right? No. And, and that's all I have to say.
You wanted to be Abe Lincoln, right?
I did.
Did you really? Did you seek out the part? Did you audition?
Well, no, and I was told the sound would be better than what you're hearing now. So, but Ross and I did a movie about a year and a half ago called Pool Boy, Drowning Out the Fury. I don't know if you had a chance. For those who haven't seen it, please go see it, because it's we couldn't get in the theaters because they said it would offend too many people.
It was too racist, they said.
So, like, all in the All in the Family wasn't. That was 40 years ago.
It was one specific joke, though, that they were like,
oh my
what's
Lord.
the difference between a Mexican and an elevator? An elevator can raise a child. And they were not, the studio was not happy with that. Weird. I love it. But they were like, we can't say that.
No, but Ross called me up, and I'm in the film for like 4 minutes. I mean, it was wonderful. He came in to do a cameo, and he sent me a script. I laughed my way through it again, and I said, I would love to play Abe Lincoln. And I think you started off something, because now there's a serious Abe Lincoln movie. And
there's the Lincoln movie's coming out at Christmas. Daniel Day-Lewis has been living in character for 4 years as Lincoln. The last one, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and there's another FDR movie coming out, which Bill Murray can't touch, Mr. Boswick, in December as well. So I can't wait for the comparisons to begin for that as well.
Kevin, I have to say, even if you're only in this for 4 minutes, it seems like the most wonderfully out of left field pairing of actor and character since Brad Pitt was Ghost of Elvis and True Romance. So.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a wonderful. It was. We had a blast. It was I was 2 days there, and I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. It was good fun. I like a laugh. You know, I mean, I think you've got to put humor in everything, otherwise we get life's too serious.
Jesse, you know, you're sort of becoming this master of horror comedy. You know, having started Reanimator musical in L.A., now New York, and moving on to Scotland soon, I believe. You talk about Werewolf Hitler.
I think the other actors up here can relate to this, but you know exactly what your agent thinks about you based on the roles you auditioned for. And my agent called me up and said, Jesse, I've got the perfect role for you. It's Werewolf Hitler. So yeah. When it was on Rosh Hashanah, so it was really, it was kind of a fun lobby. Like, I got there, and there's a bunch of nervous Hitlers pacing back and forth with bad comb-overs and little mustaches. It's like, okay, here we go. But I just love it. For me, it's like a good part of Adenoid Hinkle from The Great Dictator and a lot of Bert Schnick from Shock Treatment. Some of Barry's legion of Rocky Horror and Shock Treatment fans here. But horror comedy is just something I love, and I think something that I look to gentlemen like these for inspiration for is the fact that what makes it funny is absolute commitment and dead seriousness. There's no hamming around, there's no, hey, look how funny I am. It's like you are playing it as real as possible, and it's the situation that becomes funny, not what you think you're doing. But I love it. There's one thing I'd want to add just to pitch this. I don't think I told you yet, Joe, because I haven't really published it. I'm going to be doing Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, the musical, in September. Yeah, so I'm understudying a Broadway star, but I have a couple performances in September already booked. And Hannibal's first song is called If I Could Smell Her Cunt. And it's really loud and operatic, so I just thought I'd pitch that. Yeah.
Before we leave, real quick, if each of you three actors here, if you could just comment on your favorite moment from the film.
You're in the whole thing. You got to really think about it.
Yeah, I'll be third.
You, Jesse, right now, favorite moment.
I really love, I was just telling Barry, I love the fact that we have a scene together, even though we didn't shoot it together. I am frothing at the mouth and firing a Gatling gun on the beach and screaming, "Fuck you, Roosevelt!" at the top of my lungs, and he's coming, I guess this is a spoiler, and he's coming down in his bomber. We have a scene together, and we're trying to kill each other. We didn't shoot it at the same time, but it was a delight. And beer pong with a topless Fräulein was fun too.
Everyone should do that. On your poster, actually, they put one of my lines on here. It says, "What has two wheels and kills werewolves?" This guy. So it's it's. I'll say the whole bit I did because I don't want to spoil it because I'm not into that much, and I think it's funny to leave it alone as it is. I'll come up here and do little hand puppets later.
Thanks. Ross and I had a scene at the house out, and where I'm asking you to come to Washington, right?
Yes.
And when I say to you, please come to Washington, you went off on a series of
Maybe 20 minutes.
It was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. You were weeping. You were snorting. Things were coming out of every hole in your head. It was an amazing performance. And then when you cut it into the movie, you cut it down to 3 minutes or something. And I always thought that you should have kept the entire 15 minutes.
If we would have kept the entire thing, this would be a 3-hour movie. You'd be seeing Gettysburg.
It was brilliant, brilliant.
And that was my favorite scene as well. That in Warm Springs, Georgia with FDR was my favorite as well.
Yeah.
Thank you all, guys.
Awesome movie.
Welcome.
Thank you.